Hey there, happy day 1078 of What's She Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar world, the corporate world of business, to the online world. Spent about over 25 years, maybe 27 years in corporate America in various capacities after going to school for engineering, marketing, and management. I used a lot of management in my career. I used a little engineering in my career, and I used virtually no marketing in my career. In my corporate career, really didn't even, I worked with different departments, but I didn't really have anything to do with marketing. I definitely didn't know anything about branding myself, being my own person, in terms of, I knew I needed to be in charge of my own career and things, but I didn't know anything about branding and many of the things that I've been learning online, which I'm incidentally not doing very well at all, which will probably be something that changes in 2021. I'm going to enlist the help of some actual people that know what they're doing, including my daughter, who's a photographer, and get some help with a lot of the things that I need to have done all along, but don't really need to have done. We do what we're going to do when we're ready to do it. The saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, is ever so true. And it's true in every area and aspect of our life. I want to talk about attention today. I call this one Attention, Attention, because it reminds me of a book. And my daughter actually has a tattoo of this bird on her leg from I'm going to forget the author, but one of her favorite authors is there's a journey to an island, and on this island, a bird that always yells attention, attention. And there's a lot of underlying messages in this book, which is why my daughter loves the author. And the bird always yells attention, attention throughout the book, and it's to get our attention. It's actually to get us to pay attention to certain things. And doesn't it feel like the world is always screaming at us all the time now, whether it's television or social media or in our phone streams, or people literally screaming at us to get our attention, or signs, or, billboards, headlines. Almost everywhere we go, we are inundated with so much. We're barraged with it. It's like things are being thrown at us all the time. And most of it, we have the ability as human beings in our brain to just filter it out. But there are things, depending on what's important to you and important to me, that filter through and sneak in. But it's important every once in a while to ask ourselves, what am I paying attention to? What am I letting in? What am I spending my time and energy on? What am I listening to? What am I paying attention to? I used to, when I was younger, like everybody else, I loved music when I was in high school and in college, and a little bit after college. I absolutely loved music. I had thousands and thousands of, believe it or not, records and cassette tapes, hundreds and hundreds of them, and thousands. And I had a huge collection, and I always had music going on and always was listening to music. Or if I was driving around somewhere, I always had the radio going. And it was probably in my I want to say my early 20s, but it wasn't my early 20s. It was my mid 20s, mid to late 20s, where I started to get involved in more personal development training and things with one of the organizations that I worked for out of college. It's a company that's known for, and I think they're still known for it, incredible personal development and management development and people development within the company. And I was fortunate enough to work for them right out of college. And that's where I always loved learning. I was one of those people that probably never wanted to get out of school, never wanted to quit college, never wanted to quit doing advanced learning and trainings and seminars and webinars. Now they're webinars and teleseminars. But back then it was, you'd go to live events, you'd go to trainings, you'd go to, what were they? Fred Pryor seminars. And there were a couple big seminar circuits, the Nightingale Conant stuff. I listened to probably almost everything that they ever produced throughout my career. Because I learned early on, especially when I was driving far to and from work, that I could listen to things that were feeding my mind and feeding my brain and teaching me something or exposing me to something different than just the babbled and the talk on talk radio, or the babble and the talk on, any radio station in between songs. There was always just some nonsense going on. And I could listen to that, and it would entertain me, but there's more to life than just entertainment. Or I could listen to things that would help me to be a better person, help to improve me. And I chose early on I guess, relatively early on compared to lots of people to start doing that and listening to that. So in the 1980s, I actually was challenged in one of these trainings. It was called Louis Tice training, to turn off all outside media for a week. During the week, it was a week-long training, and we were challenged back then to just turn it off and stop listening to it and see what kind of an impact it had on our life. It had such a profound positive impact on my life. I very rarely since then have turned on the news. Now, 9/11, I was working at an industrial bakery when 9/11 happened, and that is one time I remember we all turned on the radio and we all turned on the news, and we together experienced what was going on in another part of our country. And so there's like a few times like that I remember, but for the most part, stayed away from other media and things. Now with social media, it's really hard to be cut off and turned off, especially when I'm doing things like Facebook Lives to share information, create videos, and post them on different platforms. It's in our face all the time, and we actually have to find ways and strategies to determine what we are and are not going to pay attention to. Like, I've personally set rules for myself: no phones or screen time, like for a half hour or an hour before bed, because it gets me thinking about things that other people are feeding me. And it's actually things that whatever platform I'm on are feeding me based on my previous selections. So if I happen to have gone through a political or a stage where I'm listening or watching or investigating a certain topic, my feed will be serving me all those things on that topic. And it might be a topic I just had a quick passing interest in, like think of shopping during the holidays, right? During the holidays, I went on my phone, went on my computer, and did some online shopping. Well, mainly because of COVID and we weren't really going to stores. So now whenever I go on any platform, all of these advertisements and things of, baby gear for my daughter. I'm not worried about baby gear, but my daughter is. She's having a baby in February. So all these baby things are popping up on my feeds and my screens and all kinds of things, just because for a short period of time, I showed an interest in something. So now I got to go on there and show an interest in some other things that I really want to see, so I keep seeing them. But with social media, it's really a challenge to turn it off. Now, of course, we can always just turn off our phone. Got in trouble last night because I went to my sister's and we had dinner and watched a movie and things, and my kids, I left my phone in my purse upstairs and I didn't check it and I didn't answer it. And they're like, "Where are you? Why aren't you answering?" I'm like, "Okay, I know, I'm out. Don't freak out." So attention, what are we paying our attention? And what are we giving our attention to? Are we giving our attention to, I'll be the first to admit that during COVID-19, I gave a lot more of my attention than I normally would to things like Netflix, to things like watching documentaries, to things that I would normally consider time wasters, just because all of the other activities that we'd normally be doing or I'd normally be out participating in and experiencing were shut down, locked down. I mean, we're still in a curfew in my little town due to the neighboring state, not due to our state, but due to the challenges from our neighboring state, where I live in a border town. And we had some problems with our COVID restrictions are looser than theirs. And so people were coming across the border, and I was just driving to and from my sister's, or riding to and from my sister's last night, was just eye-opening. It's amazing how many people from the neighboring state are in our little town. It's like 10 cars to 1 are Minnesota versus Wisconsin plates, and it's just strange. But we're not going to pay attention to that. It's a short-term thing that's going to happen. Pretty soon people will start opening up. Life will not go back to normal, and we're not going to have a new normal. I hate the phrase new normal. I don't hate it. I dislike the phrase new normal. I think things are changing all the time, and that it's human nature to adapt to and deal with challenges and changes, and that it doesn't mean it's a new normal. I mean, we're changing all the time. It's when we become fixed and stagnant that we have trouble and challenges. So what was I doing? I'm actually only doing 3 videos a day right now, which is totally weird for me. It totally feels strange. It feels like I'm not talking enough, which is probably why I'm talking too much on this particular segment. But our idiom today for Supersize Your Business was, no man is an island. I think a lot of the things that I've been talking about for a long time now, but especially all of last year and this year as well, it seems like the theme will continue and trend into, is we are all connected as people and as human beings. We don't get through life on our own. We need help. We need other people. We need to be And we need to realize and remember that we are all connected. So if I do something good or bad to another person, that is the same as doing something good or bad to me. So if I am rude and disrespectful to someone else, that's as if I'm being rude and disrespectful to myself. We are all a reflection of what we're thinking about ourselves. And that's hard to remember sometimes when we get in heated debates and things, but we need to remember to always treat people the way we want to be treated. If I don't want to be called names and disrespected, I'm never going to call somebody else a name and disrespect them. It doesn't mean I'm not going to question when they say things or behave in a way that I don't think is very respectful, but that doesn't mean I'm going to resort to calling them names or stoop to the level of other people. It's just, I don't want to be seen or viewed, and I don't want to behave that way. I know that we're all connected and that we need to treat other people the way we want to be treated. So it's interesting. I think I've been doing 14 days of Proverbs, and I didn't go back all the way, but at least 3 of them relate to the interconnectedness of human beings. 2 heads are better than 1. Birds of a feather flock together. No man's an island. No person's an island. I guess it's 2021. So we're going to have to say no person is an island. Then I got to thinking how many of these idioms and expressions that we've used for centuries are going to be changed now because of our new political correctness. I hope not, because I think that by changing history just because we want it to say something different than what actually happened, we're deluding ourselves and we're setting ourselves up for failure. Just my personal opinion. So no man is an island. Our do one thing a day that centers you today was about the extra mile, which I absolutely love that expression. You know, there's never traffic on the extra mile, or it's not crowded on the extra mile. And that is so true. And if you think back in your life about anything that you've wanted to go for and work toward, usually a lot of people say they want to do something. And then of that, say there's 100 people that say they want to do something. I want to start a business. I want to start a business. I've been in the business world for a long time. So I interact with a lot of people that say they want to start a business. So say there's 100 people that are all saying they want to start a business. Of that 100, within a year, 95 of them will have never done anything to move towards starting a business, which is really sad, right? But it's the same statistics. I love statistics, because if you look at numbers and pay attention to numbers and statistics, they show you everything, right, that you want to know. Now, there's lots of ways to manipulate and lie with statistics, but there's also, if you look at the raw data, you can really find out and learn a lot about things. So that applies, that basic number applies to everything. People say, well, 95% of businesses fail in the first year. Well, guess what? 95% of anything people quit or don't do or abandon in the first year. Think of New Year's resolutions. 95% of people quit their New Year's resolutions within 2 weeks of the new year. So we're 10 days into the new year. So that means in 4 more days, 95% of the people that have set New Year's resolutions will have already given them up, quit, or cheated on them, or decided they weren't going to do them. It's human nature. It applies to everything. So that extra mile, that part that gets you to what you want, mainly it's just hanging in there and keep doing what you need to do to move you toward that thing, is what will determine if you get there or not. There's nothing that any of us can want to do that we're not capable of doing and achieving. There really isn't. And I'm not going to argue with people that say, oh, well, I can't be 6 feet tall. Well, guess what? Neither can I. But that doesn't mean I can't step on a platform that makes me 6 feet tall. There's always a solution if we're willing to be open and expect the best and go for it. So that's it. Only the 3 videos today. No man's an island. No, there's never traffic. No traffic jam on the extra mile. And just talking about today, what's going on. I will be starting a new challenge very soon. I'm actually being on Molly Dorse's podcast tomorrow, and she's interviewing me about challenges. And maybe I'll decide before I'm on that interview what and when the next one will be. But I am finding that the first 10 days of this year are not as fun as the entire year last year, because every day last year I was working on several different challenges, and I was leading groups through challenges. The Get Up and Go challenge, we did over a 30+ day challenge 5 times last year, from April to December. We wrapped the last one up December 31st. And since then, I'm like, I feel like a little a ship being blown around in the wind. So I need to get back on that because I benefit from it as much or more than anybody else that participates in it. Why? Because it keeps me moving toward my goals and objectives in each area and aspect of my life. And it holds me, I hold myself, of course, responsible all the time, but it helps to hold me accountable to myself, when I'm actually being accountable to other people as well, if that makes sense. All right, that's it. That's all I've got today. If I can help you in any way, if you have any questions, go ahead, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Bye. Take care. Have an awesome day.